So my name is Abdullah Abou. I'm an associate program officer covering the MENA region, starting from Mauritania to Iran. And I'm here to represent the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, which is located in Masdar, Abu Dhabi. And I'm here to talk about the current renewable energy developments and trends, as you can see in the title of my presentation. First of all, I'm going to talk about IRENA in general. So it's an agency that was founded in 2009. It consists of 169 member states, including the EU, European Union, and we do have 15 states in accession. As I mentioned earlier, we're headquartered in Masdar City, Abu Dhabi, and we do have two other offices, namely the IRENA Innovation and Technology Center in Bonn, Germany, and the Permanent Observer to the United Nations Office in New York. Our mandate is very simple and straightforward, is to promote the widespread adoption and sustainable use of all forms of renewable energy worldwide. As you can see, bioenergy, geothermal, hydropower, ocean energy, solar energy, and wind. On the right side of the presentation, you can see that the UAE, which we're very grateful for, won the bidding to house IRENA headquarters, and we took a snapshot of the national news in 2019 for that historic moment. Next, I'm here going to explain two different things that we have as part of IRENA, which is the Assembly and the Council. So the Assembly is the agency's supreme decision-making body that convenes once yearly, most probably in January every year, and includes a delegation from each IRENA member. It do guide the programmatic and strategic direction biannual, so every 2 years. And the council, which takes place twice, it consists of 21 IRENA members elected by assembly, which convenes twice yearly, as I mentioned earlier. And it also assists in decision-making with recommendations to assembly. The secretariat consists of the Director General, Mr. Francisco Lacamara, and his office. It prepares and implements the work program within framework of IRENA's mission. In its mission, of course, IRENA acts along the following 6 pillars to be: Center of Excellence for Energy Transition, Global Voice of Renewables, Support for Regions and Countries, International Collaboration and Network Hub, and of course, Facilitator of Renewables Deployment. That's the headquarter picture in Masdar City, Abu Dhabi. Next is the Tripling Pledge, which was signed in COP28 here in Dubai in 2023. So the commitment is IRENA, in cooperation with the UAE COP28 presidency under Dr. Sultan and other partners, undertook regional and country-level consultations to achieve a global commitment at COP28. The COP28 UAE consensus set a new specific target on tripling renewable power and doubling energy efficiencies improvement by 2023. And when we move to the implementation, of course, IRENA was tasked by COP28 President as the custodian agency to monitor the implementation of the targets. And the NDC updates integration of the UAE consensus into NDCs 3.0. And of course, the partnership framework to support the implementation itself. Next, I'm gonna use this so we can move around. Okay. So here in this slide, we're gonna talk about the 2023 renewable power deployment. As you can see, a new benchmark was what took place in 2023, where 473 gigawatts were added. And next is the 2024, which is a record annual growth renewable power capacity. As you can see, it reached 585 gigawatts additions last year, which indicates a 92.5 share of the total capacity expansion, and a record rate of annual growth, 15.1 percentages. Of course, with the 585 gigawatts of capacity additions, renewables accounted for over 90% of total power expansions globally in 2024. Next, we're going to talk about the renewable power capacity by energy sources. As you can see, solar takes the most of it, followed by hydropower, wind, and lastly others. By others, we do mean biofuels, geothermal, oceans, etc. So, and as you can see on the top right, we do mention that at the end of 2024, global renewable power capacity amounted to 4,448 gigawatts. That's in total, cumulative, in other words. Solar, in line with the other previous years, accounted for the largest share, as I mentioned earlier. Of course, as you can see down, in 2024, around, I would say, 2,000 of the 4,000 gigawatt were from solar PV itself. Next is the current and newly added renewable power capacity by region, of course, and as expected. Asia accounted for the majority of new capacity in 2024, 72%, increasing its renewable capacity by 421 or 422 gigawatts to reach a total of 2,382 gigawatts, which is around 54 of the global total value. The majority of this increase occurred in China, around 374 gigawatts. When it comes to the region that I cover myself, the MENA region, as I said, starting from Mauritania to Iran, we do have a big wind and solar potential. And in 2024 itself, the region recorded a 4.8 gigawatt increase in newly commissioned capacity into 2024, driven primarily by Saudi Arabia, around 1.8 gigawatt, followed by Egypt, around 1 gigawatt, and then Qatar, also around 1 gigawatt. The rest of, or the remaining of the capacity were added by Bahrain, 10 megawatts, Iran, Jordan, Mauritania, Morocco, Tunisia, the UAE, of course, and Yemen. Here, as we can see, we are reaching the global tripling target, which is 11.17 terawatts by 2023. As we said, the UAE consistency started in 2022, which is the base year. It was 3.38 terawatts. And this growth that we talked about in the previous slide is narrowing the gap to the UAE consensus target of tripling renewable energy capacity by 2023, and to reach the 1.17 terawatts by 2030, a global annual growth rate of 16.6% is needed. True, it is an ambitious target, but I do believe it's achievable. Here, and this is the most important things to talk about. Investments. Investments are the key to achieve the ambitious target that we talked about in the previous slide. As you can see in the table which I have placed in my slide, the global investment in renewable capacity additions reached 570 billion US dollars in 2023, compared to 448 billion US dollars in 2022, which represents a 27% increase. Annual investments in renewable power grid and flexibility, energy efficiency, and conservation must increase from 1.29 trillion US dollars in 2023 to 4.5 US dollars trillion each year between 2024 and 2023 to be able to meet the UAE consensus renewable and energy efficiency goals. Next, we're going to talk about the global renewable energy employments in 2023. Of course, those numbers are in thousands. So 7,388,000, 1,812,000, 1,056,000. As you can see, the total global renewable energy employment in 2023 reached 16.2 million jobs. The distribution is, as mentioned in the map. I'm going to just mention a few of them. Definitely China, 7,388,000, the European Union E28, 1,812,000, the United States definitely 1,056,000, the rest of Asia, including Vietnam, Japan, Korea, etc., 2,161,000. Brazil, which was one of the first countries to move into renewables, it's 1,567,000. I would also mention India, specifically basically as a country 1019,000. Here we can see in the next slide the distribution by technology. As we mentioned earlier, the deployment is led by solar PV, and definitely that means that the most number of jobs is going to be in solar photovoltaic. As you can see, the total is 16,233,000, which is equal to 16.2 million jobs, led by solar photovoltaics, liquid biofuels, followed by hydropower, wind energy, and then biomass, heat pumps, biogas, geothermals, and other technologies. Of course, the resource for this for these numbers is IRENA and the International Labour Organization, which is based in Geneva, and you can take a look on our latest jobs report, which was launched in October 2024. Finally, to reach a systemic, to reach the investment needed that we talked about earlier, and to reach our ambitious target, we do need a systemic change to overcome the structural barriers embedded in the progress of the system, and that's by following the following pillars: policy and regulations, by adapting policies and regulations; supply chains, skills and capacities, by developing a skilled workforce; finance, again, investment, scale up and expand distribution of finance; international collaboration, which IRENA takes leads in this as an intergovernmental agency by strengthening international collaborations; infrastructure and system operation by modernizing and expanding the infrastructure. Those here, the reports, as you can see, they're the latest IRENA publications, including the capacity statistics one, which I used the number from, the tracking COP28 outcomes, the World Energy Transition Outlook 2024, the Climate Action Support, the Renewable Energy and Jobs report, which I mentioned earlier. And we do have a lot of work also on green hydrogen, but I didn't include them in these slides because we have a limited time. But do definitely take a look at them if you're interested in the green hydrogen evolvement in this part of the world. Finally, because we're reaching lunch and we have limited time, please do contact me by scanning this barcode if you have any questions or if you need a copy of the slides which I shared earlier today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Abdullah. Big round of applause, please, for Abdullah. So I have to say, reiterate, the documents that Abdullah showed on that penultimate slide, absolutely definitely worth looking at and downloading. It's amazing the stuff you can get for free online from organisations like IRENA, particularly given that renewable energy and the feed into electric vehicles is so significant. So yeah, well done. Thank you, Abdullah.